studios at the University of Kansas. You are watching KUJH TV News.
Local homeless people are struggling to get ready for the harsh weather ahead. Learn what they're doing to survive and how you can help.
President Trump is in the hot seat as 4 new witnesses testify during his impeachment hearing. Find out what they say Trump has done wrong.
And the president is discussing putting plans into play to win Kansas again in the 2020 election. See how Trump may use Mike Pompeo to gain votes.
And welcome to KUJH News. I'm Malik Jackson.
And I'm Becky Phelps. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo may soon get asked about leaving his current position to run for the U.S. Senate.
The Kansas seat is up for grabs since Republican Senator Pat Roberts is not looking for a 5th term. President Trump says theoretically if Pompeo gives up his current job and runs, it gives Trump the advantage to win Kansas in the 2020 election.
But if we thought we were going to lose that, I would have a talk to Mike. If you look at polling, Mike would walk away with that seat.
To say if he state to run for office.
The House Judiciary Committee held its first hearing in the impeachment inquiry today, with 4 legal scholars weighing in as witnesses. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler kicking off his panel in the impeachment inquiry against President Trump.
Never before has a president engaged in a course of conduct that included all of the acts that most concerned the framers.
The witnesses, 4 legal scholars, 3 called by Democrats, agreeing the president abused the power of his office.
We 3 are unanimous.
And warning of dire consequences if Congress does not act.
This is precisely the misconduct that the framers created a constitution, including impeachment, to protect against.
The witnesses invited by Democrats also cut at key Republican talking points, like their argument that withholding aid from Ukraine doesn't amount to an impeachable offense because it was ultimately released.
The possibility that the president might get caught in the process of attempting to abuse his office and then not be able to pull it off does not undercut in any way the impeachability of the act.
Based on the evidentiary record before you, what has happened in the case today is something that I do not think we have ever seen before.
But a witness called by Republicans, Professor Jonathan Turley of George Washington University, saw it differently.
Impeachments have to be based on proof, not presumptions. That's the problem when you move towards impeachment on this abbreviated schedule.
Echoing a sentiment of Republicans on the committee.
Clock and the calendar are seemingly dominating this.
This comes after the House Judiciary Committee released their report on the impeachment inquiry yesterday.
A University of Kansas professor is heading to the White House. Yes, President Donald Trump picked KU professor Shannon Blunt to be one of 16 STEM professionals to serve under his advisory council. Part of Blunt's job is to focus on the education of the STEM workforce, work with national problems, and create a 5-year plan for potential disruptive technology areas. Blunt says he's excited for this opportunity to serve his country.
Julie, I'm not complaining, but it's pretty hot for December.
It is. We're well above average. Those temperatures are going to continue for most of the week. So if you like today, you'll probably like tomorrow. It's looking pretty good. Our above average week is ahead of us, and we are going to continue to be above average for the next couple of days, especially for December. Slight chance of showers tomorrow evening as a cold front moves through. That's going to push us into the 40s for Friday. Then we're going to bounce right back and be back up into the 50s for your weekend. So the cool down is coming on Friday. 55 outside right now, mostly sunny skies. It's really beautiful for the beginning of December. Here's a look at the clouds outside. For the most part, we're pretty clear. A few clouds moving through the area, but for the most part, it should be clear the rest of the day. I'll have your full forecast coming up in just a second.
Thanks, Julie. The Lawrence Community Shelter was forced to cut their capacity in early September. Recently, with the $75,000 campaign, they were able to increase their numbers, but still not where they were. With dozens still sleeping outside, KUJH reporter Keely Drew tells us how the homeless are keeping positive during these cold, hard times.
She doesn't want to give her real name, but the homeless community calls her mom. Sometimes she's hard to understand, but the message comes from her heart, and that's crystal clear.
I don't know that you there be out here.
Mom is now taking care of more people than ever. Nearly 25 people are back on the streets after the Lawrence homeless shelter cut the number of beds because of staffing problems.
They got to reopen that shelter. They got to take these people back. I can't have these many people out here.
Some were able to find alternative housing, but nearly 24 had no other choice but to hit the streets.
It gets, real cold at night.
Brenda Sperry was one of the lucky ones who got to keep her bunk at the shelter, but the unlucky say it's not easy.
It drains you. There's days where I don't even leave the woods because I just can't do.
And their days usually end in a tent similar to this one, with a thin nylon wall is the only thing protecting them from the cold Kansas nights. But those who are sleeping outside say the sense of community is what helps keep them warm.
We are a tight community. We do take care of each other as much as we can, even if we don't like each other.
Psychologists say concepts like community and friendship usually have to wait until basic needs like food and shelter are met.
Theoretical proposition that people have needs that come in at various levels of intensity, and that one has to have a basis of needs filled before one can effectively move toward other needs.
The first level is physiological, meaning you need things like food and water. Second is safety, a secure home, employment, feeling safe. The theories say once you have those basic levels, you can move on to higher concepts, like love and belonging. But Mom and her friends managed to find those, even without meeting the lower levels of need.
Not impossible, but it's just harder to accomplish when one is still dealing with concerns about safety or dealing with concerns about physiological needs.
Mom says it's exactly the community they've put together that helps fulfill those more basic needs.
We are a family, and we have rules that we live by.
She says if one person gets food, they divvy it up to make sure everyone got something to eat that day.
Here's your lunch for tomorrow. Here's your lunch for tomorrow. So they have a lunch for when they go to work.
There you go.
Thank you.
The homeless shelter says it's working to get capacity back up for the winter. But until then, Mom says her family will keep doing what they're doing.
Underestimate what you can do. I didn't think I could have did this.
And Sperry has one simple request she wants you to remember if you meet one of her homeless friends.
At least be kind to them. You don't have to kick them.
In Lawrence, Keely Drew, KUJH News.
If you want to help the shelter keep its capacity up, Executive Director Renee Kuhl says they are always looking for volunteers. To sign up, head over to their website and click on the tab that says Get Involved.
Most people know KU as the home of basketball, but a new survey says it's also a home for veterans. The Military Times ranked KU as the 11th best university for student veterans. KU's military-affiliated student center offers many resources in Lawrence, so vets don't have to travel for benefits like health care. Student veterans say the center gives them a place where they feel accepted.
Well, I love to hear that.
I know. That's a great thing to have in a college town, really.
Especially for people that go out and risk their lives for us. Yeah. Still to come on KUJH News, thieves crashed through a California jewelry store not once, but 3 times. See why customers believe the owner is being targeted.
And a New York man falls on tracks just minutes before almost being struck by a train. Find out what bystanders did to save his life. Stay with us.
And let's take a quick look at news from across the nation. An elderly man was almost run over by a train after his wheelchair rolled onto the tracks. Other passengers and service workers reacted quickly to help stop the train that was scheduled to arrive within minutes. A commuter shot the incident on his cell phone, showing transit workers helping pull the man off the tracks. He has a few bumps and bruises, but is expected to be okay. And people are upset after a truck slammed into a jewelry store, marking its 3rd break-in in just months. The thieves are seen breaking open display cases and grabbing handfuls of jewels at the store in California. Locals say they think robbers are targeting this store because the owner has cancer. He's had the store for 42 years, but says he thinks it may be time to close the shop and retire. And theme park fans, break out your lightsabers because Disney's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is about to get a whole lot better. Rise of the Resistance opens tomorrow at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Orlando. Riders get thrown into a battle between the First Order and the Resistance. The 4D ride is 18 minutes long. And that is your look at news from across the nation.
Julie, I'd love to see these warm temperatures stick around.
They are going to stick around. I have your 7-day forecast coming up after the break. Stay with us.
The holiday shopping season is right around the corner, and Lawrence businesses are fighting an uphill battle against Amazon. KUJH reporter Jake Kaufman shows us what these mass street shops are doing to get people offline and into their stores.
These last 2 months are crucial for local businesses like the Raven Bookstore and the Lawrence Toy Store, as these purchases help them pay the bills for the rest of the year.
Holidays are a huge time for a place like this. We make a pretty significant percentage of our sales in November and December, and it's these 2 months that enable us to pay bills the rest of the year.
It's up to the Lawrence community to help pay these bills. Their support is what makes these businesses thrive and enables them to give back by hiring right here in Lawrence. They say this is knowing the community and taking part in it, and having one another's back.
It's all about supporting each other, whereas Amazon is definitely seen as a third-party entity that doesn't necessarily have a face, it doesn't even have a body to it, it's just a website.
Amazon not only affects places like the Lawrence Toy Store and the Raven Bookstore, but all small retailers, because the prices that these stores offer are higher than what Amazon does, making them fight an uphill battle.
We have a real wealth of small, locally owned businesses, especially for a town our size. And if someone wants to do most of their Christmas shopping at a small business, Lawrence is a really good place to do that.
For Kane, it's not just about the values of Amazon, but he says they're a monopoly whose business you can't avoid and impossible to boycott. He says that's what makes them scary, so he too chooses not to give any money to Amazon.
I try to give money to businesses whose ethics and values I share. And as an advocate for small businesses, I just can't stomach buying anything from Amazon.
While local businesses fight their uphill battle against Amazon through the holiday shopping season, they urge locals to shop within Douglas County and help the businesses that have been in the community for decades. In Lawrence, Jake Kaufman, KUJH News.
Kane says that there's always a worry that Amazon will put them out of business, and that's why the people of Lawrence should support their shops.
3 adorable puppies are recovering after snowmobiles rescued them from the Utah wilderness. Kat Perry and Corey Holt were snowboarding on Monte Cristo when Perry spotted a pup stuck in deep snow. The county's search and rescue team helped bring the puppies down the mountain. They are still searching for the mother. The couple's considering keeping one puppy and naming him Polar. They absolutely should keep one of those puppies.
Oh, those puppies were so cute.
That is such a sweet story.
Honestly, I do hope the mom is okay. I hope they find the mom soon.
Yeah, obviously.
That's KUJH News for Wednesday, December 4th.
To view our stories again or to share them with your friends, visit our website at tv.ku.edu.
And check us out Friday at 4 p.m. for the latest news, weather, and sports.
Thanks for joining us, and have a great evening.